Yo, what's going on?
Hey, pop stars, we're back.
Oh
Hey,
my,
everybody, it's me, Trenton Rashad,
and it's me, Marcus Drew Steele.
and you are listening to Cold Pop.
Oh my gosh.
Cold Pop 2.0, new and improved. Hello.
Well, are we in
Look
the
at us. We're
21st
on
century?
TV. We're on TV. Hello, TV land.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, my West Coast friend?
It has been such a whirlwind, let me tell you. I
Okay, talk
am
to me about it. Let's
like
this
first off the
energy,
time
like
difference.
your energy that you're bringing to this,
What I'm about to tell you, like I'm tired. I am tired.
like
What time
whew,
is it there?
okay. Don't start what timing it is and all of that stuff. You live here. You know we on Central Time. You know, do the math. I don't no, don't start giving me,
Okay.
girl who studied abroad for half
Yeah.
a semester.
That's exactly what you're getting right
What
now.
time is it there? I'm just so tired.
What
The
time is it?
like please, like don't even let's not even go down that road.
How have you been?
I'm good. I'm good. It was nice to have a little break. I'll be very honest with you. I
Yeah,
took some time to connect. I hosted family. I hosted friends here. We've
you've
been
been
running
hosting
this.
everybody.
Running a bed and breakfast here, and that's been fun. And just catching up like on all the good TV and movies and all of those things. So I watched recently Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul.
I still need to
Um,
see it. I still need to
so
watch.
good. Love
Yeah.
that. Regina Hall, Sterling K. Brown, killed. I feel like we might need to do a special episode or spotlight talking about that film because I think you'll enjoy it. I loved it. It is comedic, but it has some very serious drama filled like dark moments as well.
Yeah.
So I got to see that. I also watched Elvis, the Baz Luhrmann biopic. Um, interesting film. What else did I watch? Oh, FX Under the Banner of Heaven. I did watch that
Oh,
as
you
well.
told me about that. Yeah.
Really good. I mean, I pretty much binged that in an entire weekend, but found that to be like really captivating and understand why it's getting the Emmy attention that it is. But it's been good. I have had some time to, keep up with my television as well as some side projects. This is one of my side projects. I'm excited to come back to, and so I'm starting to kind of, fill my time with hobbies, and things that I'm excited to be working on, and some projects that I'm excited to see where they go. So doing that and
L-
staying in tune with my housewives, of course.
Beverly Hills and Atlanta.
Beverly Hills, Atlanta. The trailer for Potomac recently premiered. The trailer for Salt Lake City also recently premiered, and
I
so
need to watch
I
Potomac's
mean,
trailer.
really great. It looks like really great seasons for both of them. So yeah, I've been keeping busy. What about you?
I don't know if you can see, but there's a marker board on my. I took you and your old man's idea with the TV watch list. I've just been crossing them out like the girl from like Emily from Revenge, crossing out my TV shows as I watch them. There's been a
Cute.
ton of TV. First off, I just finished Day Shift yesterday with Jamie Foxx on Netflix.
Okay.
Did not like it.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Okay. Yeah,
Did not like it.
I wasn't feeling led.
I wasn't either. I stopped like halfway and had to come back to it a different day. And even when I came back to it, I was like, yeah, still don't like it. Still don't like it.
Okay.
I've been watching a ton of TV. You would be very proud of me. I just binged Rap Shit on HBO Max. Finished all 8 episodes. Very good
Good. You're
TV
ready
show.
because we're going to be talking about that today.
Love. I also watched. Let me get my list out. I watched Uncoupled on Netflix with Neil Patrick Harris and Tisha Campbell. So that's going to be my
Watch that
spotlight
as well.
show.
I've seen that as well. So, okay.
I watched I Am Groot, the shorts on Disney Plus that came out a little bit ago. That was very cute.
Nice.
I also watched Sandman on Netflix. Finished that series.
Okay. I've
Also
heard some
very
good things about
interesting.
it.
It's some of the episodes are good. Some of the episodes, like there is one particular episode that has death in it, and
Yeah.
she was amazing. Like that was probably the best episode of the whole series to me. And it was this black lady that was playing death. Very very good. What else? What else? Oh, I'm watching She-Hulk on Disney Plus.
All right. Shout out to Meg Thee
Mm,
Stallion for her cameo.
right. She said there's only one Meg the Stallion. I was like, go ahead, girl. Go ahead, Meg and Pete. One of the things I think you forgot to mention, House of Dragon on HBO Max.
House of the Dragon.
Is it House of the Dragon or House of Dragon?
House of the Dragon.
Gather me. The House of the Dragon,
Because
like
black
Megan
people
the
always love
Stallion.
to rename shows. And if I let you get away with it now, it's gonna
I'll do it
be then it's
again.
gonna be called you're gonna go with House of Dragon, and then black people always have this thing where they add an S on it as well. And so
House of
then
Dragons.
it will morph into House of Dragons, and then we'll slowly get to a point where people just be like, "Are you watching Dragons?"
Are you watching Dragon? I'm gonna be like, you watching that Game of
And
Thrones
people will
prequel?
go along with it, and it's like, no, okay, we have to start getting these things correct. So
Oh my
I
gosh.
have to gather you.
So I've been watching tons, and so I am. You would be very proud of me.
Okay,
I've been
cool.
keeping up on my TV ish. So there you go.
Well, I mean, can we talk a little bit about we got your TV? What's going on with you in your life? You are the one that has had this big life change. Like, talk to us about that.
So to be fair, TV has been my one constant during this big life change,
Yeah,
and so that's what's kind of been keeping me sane. But yeah, I moved to Oakland, California from Chicago. So if you all were listening a few weeks or about a month ago now, you saw we did my Chicago exit interview. But yeah, I relocated back to Cali. I used to live here from like 2013 to 2016, and now I'm back. And it's weird. It's weird. I think spending 5 years in Chicago has definitely changed my life. And now just trying to take everything that I've learned from that time span and kind of apply it here
that's
and
right.
upgrade even more,
Taking the
kind
lessons
of raise my
that
life.
mama taught you
You already
and
know.
applying them, living right and doing right wherever you go.
So,
And
anyways,
remember
so
to
I'm
always
still
pray.
shut up. I do I feel settled in? Not quite.
You don't
Like the
look settled
apartment is
in. I'm going to be
together.
very honest with you. It's looking real bare behind you.
Well, first off, you're looking at the kitchen and the
Well,
refrigerator. I can't show
I'm
you
just
the
telling you, you
living
don't look
room.
settled in.
So, because the windows are facing, that's
Where's
why
your
I'm getting all of
groceries?
this marvelous light in the fridge where they're supposed to be. um, but no, I mean, I'm still settling in. Like the apartment has come together really, really well. I like it. I need to find a storage unit
Yep.
for some of my things, and I need to hang up some more pictures. But it's coming well, and I need to. I left. Oh, so the big thing, and shout out to. I think he won't mind me naming him since he listens. But shout out to our friend Chris because he had to foster three of my plant babies while I made the move out here, my bigger girls. And I was talking to him Friday. We're recording this on a Saturday morning. And he was like, the girls are thriving. The girls are doing good. He was like, I've been getting a lot of compliments. I said, see, my plants, every house that they've been in, they've gotten compliments from people who have been over there.
I
So
don't know if
y'all
that's
go
true.
learn today. That's very true because it happened at your spot in Chinatown. It happened at
They
Brad's
definitely didn't.
spot.
No, they definitely didn't get compliments from me.
Well, yeah, well, clearly not
So
from you because you're a
I
hater.
would be very careful about whatever narrative that you're selling right now.
What did Beyonce say? Love thy hater. Love thy hater.
So my question for
Yeah,
you
everybody
is,
else is
you
complimented.
chose a very interesting word, foster. Are you planning on trying to get these plant babies back one day?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. I have worked too
You gonna sue
hard.
for
Mama
custody?
has been through.
You gonna pull a
Do you?
Neo? I want joint
We're going to
custody,
talk about
joint
that.
physical custody.
No, ain't no joint custody. This is sole custody because those are my girls. You didn't
He's gonna
raise.
fight you
Nobody
in
else
court.
raised
I
those
know he's
girls.
gonna fight you in court.
Bring it on.
This is
Bring it
just
on
like
because I've got
losing
a solid
Isaiah.
case.
This is
Those
basically
are
losing Isaiah. This is exactly what this is, and I'm going to be the caseworker. Um, I'm gonna be the
Those are
caseworker
my
trying to
girls.
explain exactly what the situation is. I'm gonna be Samuel L. Jackson. I'm gonna help you get your
Ain't no
kids back. I'm gonna
situation.
help you get your kids back.
I put number one, I don't need no help. I set them with a foster parent because I knew that their
What
transition would
I'm
be
telling you,
difficult and
Marcus,
I
is
needed
in
to
the state of
focus on that.
Illinois, the parent that has exercised the most love and care in the developmental years, as decided by the courts, is going to get
That is
custody.
what are you talking about? That is me. What do you mean?
I'm just telling you this because I know how the law works, and I've seen a whole bunch of
Okay.
kids get torn up in this system, and I don't want that to happen to you.
I'm moving on because I will be
Please,
getting my
please,
plants
because
back.
I'm not.
I've got 3 of them.
Yes, please. Let's move on. It is. I'm glad that you've had some time to kind of get chilled, but we have lots to talk about in this
Yes.
episode. Um,
What are we talking about?
well, pause. Are we doing a cold open?
Not let's not today, just because we're just coming back. Let's not today because I just don't want to deal with it right now. This technology is too much. We need to figure this out first.
Okay. All right.
Or if you have, I can always slip something in if you have something in mind. Like once we're
All right.
done. So even if we don't reference it, I can always slip something in.
Got you. We'll go back and do some kind of
So
opening.
okay.
All right.
But yeah. So what are we talking? What exactly are we talking
Child, we
about?
have lots to talk about today. We are covering so many things. Um, but
Oh,
let's hop into our first segment of the show entitled Woo
woo,
Cha.
child.
Everyone, this is a rapid fire recall of the pop culture moments of this past week, things that made us say Woo Cha.
Woo, child. Woo,
So this is
chile.
going to be different now because we're not in the same room. This is going to be so weird. So I don't know if we're going to be able to time this. Is there a delay? Like,
It didn't sound time, so that means that you should probably step it up some. Do that.
no, I think we're going to have to record something maybe just to kind of go in and bite.
Oh, we could like a little
Yeah,
segment
yeah.
recording. I could see that. Okay.
But yeah, go ahead, kick us off.
Let's talk about the one thing that I've been obsessed with. And if you notice in our spreadsheet, Trent, I don't have links to these because, honey, I have gone to TikTok. I
Oh,
have
you're
gone to
educated by
TikTok
TikTok,
to get my news.
citing
Huh?
sources, as
Citing
Erica Jane
sources
said.
where I've gone to TikTok for
Where's
my
your source?
sources.
Cite them.
Where's your source? Let's talk about. Okay, you and I spoke about this briefly. The "Don't Worry, Darling" drama at the Venice
Yeah.
Film Festival. Oh my gosh! So, for everybody who doesn't know, "Don't Worry, Darling" debuted at the Venice Film Festival to a 4-minute standing ovation, but only before the entire cast walked out.
Yeah.
Only before the entire cast walked out because they didn't want to be there. So apparently there is drama between Florence Pugh and Olivia Wilde. I say allegedly, but you can watch the
I mean,
videos.
let's be
Um,
real. There's drama between the entire cast.
so Gemma Chan and Chris Pine ain't got no drama. They're just there so they don't get fined.
I think Chris Pine. Well, Chris Pine is involved just by being in the wrong place, wrong time.
Guilty by association.
They haven't got Gemma in, and Gemma's like, I'm not fooling with you, white people.
And she shouldn't. And she absolutely shouldn't. But in a nutshell, before Harry, and Harry Styles, like I guess of course we can't forget Harry
Right.
Styles. He's at the center of all of this drama. So allegedly or apparently Shia LaBeouf was the original lead in this show. And then from Olivia's side, apparently she fired him, but then Shia shows up with receipts talking about, no, no, boo, you did not fire me. I quit, and here's why. And apparently, Olivia sent text message videos to him talking about how she wanted Shia to come back to the show, and she was basically not ready to give up, and how this will be a wake up call for Miss Flo. To which, of course, Florence Pugh did not take too kindly to that because I guess she thought that was a threat. Like, if you don't get your shit together, you can be axed from this movie as well. And so after all of that came to light, Florence caught wind and she basically shut down and was like, "Look, um, I'm not. What is? I'm not doing any type of marketing or promotion for this movie. I'm not showing up to anything." And so I guess they basically had to beg her to come to Venice. She showed up at the last minute. She only went on the red carpet once Olivia and Harry left. The rest of the cast greeted her very nicely. I think Nick Kroll is also in this movie as well. Um, and they love her, but I guess there is a beef now between Olivia Wilde and Florence Pugh. And Florence Pugh she did one interview on the red carpet at the Venice Film Festival. And then I think she was quoted as saying that she didn't feel like Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles had an appropriate a
Relationship. Yeah.
relationship on set, or she said they had an inappropriate relationship on set. As we know, Olivia and Harry are
Hmm.
dating, but now there are rumors swirling that maybe Olivia was having an affair with Harry while she was still married to Jason Sudeikis. So there's that. And then of course all of the TikToks that follow with think pieces and all of that jazz. Trent, what do you
I
think
think
about
that
this?
there's just a lot going on with this situation. I feel like from the beginning, since they first revealed and did the premiere of the trailer, that is where the drama started. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys remember, but I did a story about this months ago about as
Yeah.
Olivia Wilde was premiering the trailer of Don't Worry, Darling, that she was served divorce papers by Jason Sudeikis in the same venue at the same time. And so there's always been some type of drama attached to this film project since its inception, since its beginning. And I think, this the whole Shia LaBeouf situation and kind of, his text messages that he shared between him and Florence, and then the video of which, Olivia Wilde is referring to Florence. And then on top
Miss
of that,
Flo.
Miss Flo, I don't know if you caught that there were some photos of Florence Pugh's makeup artist with their shirts, and they said Miss
Oh,
Flo.
I
So
saw.
it's just like all of these like little like these like little pieces that is like, okay, how much of this is, you know, actually real, and then how much of this is fabricated, drawn up to really bring attention to the film. I think about Harry Styles, who's also done press week with Chris Pine, and with the rest of the cast, who's doing his usual queer baiting thing at the Venice Film Festival, kiss Nick Kroll in the mouth. It's just
Not
like,
his
okay, how much of
usual
this
queer
are we going to
baiting.
keep going on and keep seeing? I also talked about this with Harry Styles and the queer baiting piece, and like you're dating Olivia, but then you want to kind of be able to kind of pander to this certain audience. And I think for me, I am I'm more so wrapped up in like, is this what people have to do now in order to get people into theaters? Is like, does is this is exhausting. This is exhausting stuff. And like to kind of have to play
So let me
into it, or to like even having to avoid it and take the steps to avoiding it and not getting into the drama. It's exhausting when like all people really want to do is work. Like let me do my I'm going to come. I'm going to act. I'm going to film the film. I'm going to come and promote it. But like, we have to remember these stars, they don't get paid to go promote these films. I don't know if I mean, we all remember the whole situation with Monique where they wanted her to go and travel and come to the film festivals and things like that. And they were like, "Am I?" And she was like, "Am I getting paid?" They were like, "No." Like, so it's just exhausting to have to kind of do all of this stuff on your job, the unnecessary drama. Um, and yeah, it brings me back to my initial thought, like, is this what people have to do in order to sell tickets now?
So let's be clear. You could definitely put it in your contract to like that you get paid to come to these things. Like when you sign up for a movie or when you sign up to do a movie, like that's
I don't
part of
know if
your
it works like
contract.
that.
You work out the promotion. I think Monique got a
I
raw
don't
end
think
of the
I
deal.
don't
I
think
don't
it
think that
works
was
like
in
that,
her
because I do
contract.
think that like if they don't want to show up, like while it may look bad, like I don't think that there's like any huge penalty. Cause that's why they be getting in there and just be
Hmm.
like, I don't know if you saw Harry Styles in these interviews. It's like you are phoning it in.
Girl,
Like he's like, what I love
yeah.
about this movie is that it's just a movie, like a movie. Like, what the hell are you talking about? You are at work, nigga. Like you are at work. What are you doing?
So let me ask you this: do you think that while some of this drama may be true, do you think the majority of it is manufactured to
I
promote
honestly
the
do. When
movie,
you think
even
about,
whether it be
when you put
positive
in
or
all of
negative?
those pieces and, like, even Florence with the little Miss
Mm.
Flo on the makeup shirts, like, that's all buying in, that's all feeding into it and building it up, and I think that probably the majority of this is manufactured. I would say the Shia LaBeouf piece, is probably not. That's why he's
That's
probably like,
real.
"Yeah, like, let
Yeah,
me go ahead and provide my receipts now because I see the type of fuck shit you on, Olivia Wilde." But
yeah.
I think um I think the majority of it is kind of like, yeah, like, let's create this drama. Let's get some chaos surrounding this.
My last thing, and we can move on. Because this was also on TikTok. You know who Christy Carlson Romano is,
From
right?
Even Stevens, right?
So she did a TikTok and she was like, she had said something like fighting the urge to like weigh in on this, and she was using one of the trending sounds, and I was like, ooh, Christy, spill some tea, because I think she's got Shia's back, because she
Okay.
loves Shia LaBeouf because they used to work together, and so I think she was like, not my problem, not my business, not my business, not my business, not my business, not my business. She was like fighting the urge to like jump into this drama or whatever, and everybody was in the comments talking about, "Ooh, spill, tell us, tell us, tell us." And so I thought that was very interesting. So, but all in all, woo,
Ooh,
child,
child.
this whole don't worry,
Okay.
darling. I hope the
My
movie's good.
goodness. Okay, well, over in Atlanta, Real Housewives star Sheree Whitfield has officially debuted her long-awaited She by Sheree. After 14 years of waiting, audience members have to wait no more, or well, maybe they do. Let me let's get
No,
into
they
it.
do. They
So,
they clearly do.
at the Real Housewives of Atlanta season finale, which was now I think 2 weeks ago, it ended with the She by Sheree fashion show, and there was a huge
hmm
rollout to this. We've been hearing about She by Sheree since season one of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and so it was really cool to see everything come together in the final,
Spring, summer.
right, in the final show of this season for Sheree, as she did a fashion show, which basically showcased a really cool line of athletic wear for both men and women. I will be honest, I watched the finale. I love the clothes. I thought the clothes were super nice. At which point the She by Sheree website shortly thereafter was open, and after shortly after it's
And
open,
crashed.
crashed because due to all of the overwhelming love, as it was stated on the website. Now, what people have started to notice as they were looking through the products that they were offered, number one, that it didn't look like the clothes that were on the show. So the clothes that we saw in the fashion show were not the clothes that we got on the actual website. Um, what we went to and what fans learned as they dug a little deeper was that the clothes on the website looked very similar to clothes that were on the popular website Sheen. And so very similar designs, same colors, same everything, in which people are starting to kind of put two and two together that Sheree has some deal where she is basically buying clothes wholesale and then just putting her logo on them and selling them off as her own designs. Um, a lot of people have weighed in on this, saying that this is what all celebrities do and this is what all people do. This is what Fenty does, and other big brands like that. What are your thoughts on this?
First off, I do not like Shein, however you pronounce it. I have ordered exactly two
Okay.
things from there, one of which never showed up,
Well,
and
that
the other
sounds like
that
a
showed
problem with
up, it was
your
completely the
um
wrong item.
parcel package vendor.
So one never showed up, and the other one, when I got it, it was the entirely wrong item
Okay.
that I ordered, and I like had to look in my invoice and look at the shit. I said, "So wait, I paid for this, but I
Okay,
got
so we
this
know okay, so
like
you don't like Sheen.
entirely different
Okay,
thing."
got it. How do you feel about
I don't.
Sheree
I
kind of
don't.
hitting us with the okey doke?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, if there are other celebrities who are doing this, like, not everybody can, everybody wants to parade around like they can be a designer and that they can, you know, have all of these great things, but let's be real. A lot of these girls cannot. A lot of these girls are either working with a ghost designer or just buying that shit right off the rack or something like that and selling it anyway. So I mean, it is what it is. Make the money. I think what she should probably be doing is, if she's going to buy them wholesale, she needs to figure out a way to add something to the garments to like make them
She's putting her
her
logo
their
on
own
them.
or make them her own.
She's
That's
putting
not
she's
enough.
putting her logo on them, and like you'll see, like if you click on the link, you'll see the side by side comparison of what it looks
Oh, I
like.
saw.
And I
Yeah.
think, honestly, for me, Marcus, I think that Sheree shot herself in the foot when she began this whole She by Sheree. To kind of take y'all back, I think when Atlanta was coming up was shortly after um, Real Housewives of New York, and there at during the Real Housewives of New York, there was a huge build of like housewives building their own personal brands and merchandise and having lines and things like that. And I think that she probably got caught up in something with that of saying, well, I like clothes, I want to do a clothing line because to me, for it to be 14 years later and this is the product tells me that this is fashion is not something that you are truly passionate about. Maybe you are passionate about looking good and looking fierce when you step out, but clothes is not something that you are truly like you don't bleed this shit. Like I could see now if Marlo did like a fashion line or something like that, that would make a little bit more sense to me. But I think that She by Sheree really did catch on and it became a household name in itself. And that somewhat kind of came back to haunt Sheree for years. I mean, for literally 14 years until she was able to actually produce a line. And what this says is like the fact that you have not put the time in on your actual website for it to not crash, to not go down, knowing that you're going to have all of this response, and then on top of that, to also not have these clothes right where they need to be. If you look on the website and you look at the pictures, people were just roasting how like the shirts were wrinkled when they were being photographed and things like that. I mean, it's just those small touches, and it like lets me know that you do not you number one, you don't have the team, you don't have the right team that you need in order to present this professionally, and then this is something that you are maybe truly not passionate about, because if you were, I feel like you would have a stronger hand in how everything looks from every angle, your marketing, how your fulfillment, all of that.
I think she should just be a stylist.
I
Don't
don't
try
think
to
she
be a
should. I think she
designer.
should
Like,
just
just
stick with the
style.
fitness stuff and stick with that, and then kind of just keep it
Mm.
moving from there. You've put out She by Sheree. It's out there. Let's not do anything else moving forward, okay? Until you feel like you have the funds and you feel like you have the team to really go forth, um, to bring it together. But I don't like, once again, I'm not saying like I'm going to be waiting for that because I don't think it's something that she's truly excited about.
So I just went to the She by Sheree website. Did you see this?
Is it the message?
It says
Yeah.
it says She by Sheree, dear fans, pardon our progress. It was a full house. Thank you for the overwhelming response. Though we could not accommodate all visitors, we are excited to refresh and relaunch very soon. Note all existing orders are currently being filled. Please stay tuned to Sheree Whitfield for upcoming info. So you can't even like
Yeah.
access the website now. This just that.
Woo chow.
Woo child. Woo child. Um, all right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Queen Elizabeth.
The queen.
So she died. She passed. Let me be
Transition.
respectful. She passed on Thursday at the age of 96. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it 100. It's never a great time when somebody passes, and I feel for her family and I hope that they find the peace and resolve that they need. But at the end of the day, lest we forget what the royal family has been up to for the past century, um, colonization, forcing other countries against their will to be a part of the monarchy. Very outdated terms as far as when it comes to world policies and politics. And lest we forget how Meghan has been treated in all of this and Prince Harry. So, am I respectful of their loss? Yes. Am I sad? Absolutely not. I think the monarchy over in the UK is very outdated and out of touch. We're in 2022, about to be in 2023. I think the royal family has pretty much absolved. Like, I don't think anybody really adheres to this anymore, but maybe I guess people over in London. But yeah, I don't feel any kind of way about it. And I don't feel any kind of way about King Charles now either. So if I it's a flat for me. If I could give this a flat, I
I
don't know what to say.
think
What are your thoughts?
overall I am um what do you say? I mean, it's the end of an era, clearly. I mean, she was like the longest running monarch, I think.
Yeah.
Um
Yes.
and
Because we've watched
Yeah,
The
so it's
Crown,
like,
so
I
we
mean, as long
know.
as running Marnock, that's definitely a thing. It doesn't look like there's going to be a female heir anytime soon. So I mean, that's I'm not going to take away from the fact that I would give her prop and say, okay, you did that as a woman. But I think that there are definitely some very problematic and very hard to erase or hard to avoid moments of her reign, and just exactly where
Absolutely.
whether wherever she found herself in terms of the sides of power between her and the British government, the British colonialism. Um, it is it is a fact, right? It's like that. Like, how do I put this? It's like that. It's like that. Like old lady that's like at your like school or something like that that everybody like loves, but you feel like she is kind of like she is low key racist. Um, that's what this feels like.
But was Queen Elizabeth low key
I
racist
think
or
that
just
she
racist?
was low key racist because you never get to see her.
And the
You never
royal
get to
family in
see her
general.
outright like admonishing groups or anything like that. But like it's never her hand. It's someone else's hand. And I think that she's been able to kind of hide in this um palace, if you will, but somewhat of a she's been able to kind of have a removed sense of self because it's like, oh, I'm just the monarch. I'm just a figure. I don't really have that much power. And it's well, you do have influence, you know? You understand you do have influence. And
I
so
mean, you sit at the
regardless of
top, girl,
whether or not of how
or
the
did.
checks and balances go for British government, you do have influence and you do preside over that government. Um I think that hopefully someone is looking at the monarchy as when do we pull the cord, and I think that this would be a really
That's what I was getting
great
ready to ask
time
you.
to just end it. Like, this would be a really great time to just be like, you know what,
It's not gonna
actually,
happen.
we're gonna just stop it right here. I think that this would be the opportune time,
I
and I don't
wouldn't.
know who needs to do that over there. For all of our UK listeners, let us know, who do we need to write to. But I think that this would be a good time to just be done with it.
Well, they're clearly not going to be done with it because they've already pumped King Charles into this slot now. But I agree. That was the question I was getting ready to ask you. Was, do you think that this whole royal family business should just be
I
done
think this
with?
would
And
be a
I
really
agree. I
nice
think it should
ending.
just be done with.
This would be a really great place to just cut it.
Well,
It's time to cut it.
it's time to you need to cut
Woo,
it.
child.
Woo chow. So that's all I've got to say. I didn't want to spend too much time on that because I honestly, truly, respectfully, I don't
Okay,
care.
so up next we have uh Marcus. Are you following all of this stuff with the Tiffany Haddish, Ari Spears molestation, harassment charges?
So I read it and immediately was like, oh, okay, this is not really about anything after like reading the actual case and who was alleging these and how many times did they have
Yeah.
alleged this against Tiffany. But
So for
go ahead,
those
I'll
who
let you
don't
tell the story
know,
first.
Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears were both working on a project, and in this, they were filming a skit, and the skit is called, I think, "Through a Pedophile's Eyes." But in this skit, there are some very suggestive, um, very suggestive things happening. So, for instance, there is, in this, Ari Spears is applying massage oil to him, and kind of like there are some sexually suggestive motions with toys that are being used. And what's happening now is that from this skit that was filmed, a while back, Tiffany and Aries have been charged with a molestation lawsuit. um Both of them, it was, I don't think that they took too much time to come to it. I think that they both wanted to get with their representation and make actual official statements. They did not do a joint statement, but in both of their statements they talk about somewhat of a, it wasn't a good look. So the first one, Ari Spears, no, actually Tiffany Haddish spoke out first. um and what she was basically saying, in her, she did a post on Instagram saying that clearly, that while the sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny at all, and I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. um Ari Spears goes on to talk about the situation and is letting people know that this is an attempt to extort, or in an attempt to shake down, and that that's just not what this is. That's not what this is going to be. He says in his statement, we won't be shaken down. And his attorney, no, excuse me, do they have the same attorney? No, they don't. Okay, no, Tiffany's
I was say I
attorney.
don't think so. It was Tiffany's attorney that was like, this
Yes,
is an
saying that
attempt
this
to
is a
extort.
bogus claim against Miss Haddish, and has been made for several years. Now, I was unfamiliar with. I don't know who these kids are. Do you know who the kids are?
Well, they're
Okay,
not kids, first off. They're grown ass women. And one of them's the mom and one is the daughter, for I think from what I read. Now I could
Trezaya.
be wrong.
I don't know
And
if that,
allegedly,
but I mean, no.
yeah,
The it says that the girl was 14 at the time and the boy was 7 years old. But I'm not
at the
sure who these
time.
kids are. I've
Yeah.
never seen them on anything.
Yeah. I'm not either. And from what, like I said, from the same thing that you're probably reading, I had saw that like they had made these similar claims multiple times before, and they ain't getting nothing out of it, and the cases got dismissed, and the lawyer was like, "It'll get dismissed again." I said, "This is a repeated attempt to shake down my client, Miss Haddish, and we will be
What are
fighting
you?
back."
I mean, what are your thoughts on this? I personally have. I think number one, when it rains, it pours. And have you seen like I can be a conspiracy theorist all the time, but have you seen like once a comedian gets to a certain level, there's like always something that is like to bring them down, and I don't know what that is. But we saw this happen with Cat
Is it
Williams.
even?
We saw this happen with Martin Lawrence. We've seen this happen with a number of comedians. Dave Chappelle. I mean, we've seen this happen with a number of comedians that once they get to a certain level, Mike Epps. I mean, I'm just like they keep coming off, but once they get to a certain level, like it hits a ceiling, and then it's like we're gonna bring you down.
Is it comedians, or is it just
I feel
celebrity
like I
in
see it more
general?
so
I
happen
think
with comedians
again,
because what
they're
I
gonna.
mean, a lot of the times what they're saying is so,
Okay.
you know, edgy.
Hmm.
Kevin
So I mean, you
Hart.
could put Kevin Hart in the same boat too. So to me, all I guess I've read it. That's all I know about the case. I would say if this was a legitimate case, they're gonna have to come up with some receipts to prove this on the accusation side. Now, as far as Tiffany and Ari Spears is concerned, Tiffany's lawyer seems like they've got it under control. But let me just be the first to say, fuck Ari Spears first and foremost, because what you're not gonna do, Aries Spears has said some.
You
I
mad
used to be a
about him
fan
and
of Aries
Lizzo?
Spears in the Mad TV days.
Okay.
Sure am. Sure in the hell am. Sure am. Still haven't let it go and won't let it go. And now he wants to be upset because everybody's coming for that ass. Well, then you should have sat there and
Well,
ate your damn food.
woo, child. Mm,
Period. Period. So, Aries Spears, I'm sorry, but I mean, the fact that you were out here trying to attack black women, like, nigga, have you looked in a mirror
yeah.
lately? How dare you? So that's all I got to say. So I guess can we expect a follow up from this for
I'm
you?
sure we'll see
Do we
what
need to make
happens.
this
Like I
an
think at the end of the
ongoing
day, we'll see what
segment?
happens. I'm not sure exactly how far this will go, but it's just an interesting pattern that I see, especially in the comedy world.
Ooh, chow.
Yeah, that's all I
Is
have
that
on
all
this
you
one.
got on this? The only last thing I want to talk about, and we can talk about this briefly, but somebody debuted in their first
No.
Broadway. Is this her first Broadway performance? Okay, I didn't think so. Well, Lea Michele debuted in Funny Girl, replacing Beanie Feldstein, which we covered on the show, the drama going on there. And again, this is what I mean by y'all need to listen to us. Listen to Cold Pop. We are like right here on the pulse of pop culture. Like we said this when we talked about this. We were like, of course Leah is going to do an amazing job in the role, but that's not the point. The point is that people
Hmm.
don't like her. You know, she's a talented girl.
Very.
She's a talented girl. But the problem is that people don't like her. And so she debuted in Funny Girl this past week. And of course, amazing. Like there were tons of videos, which of course there shouldn't have been because this is a Broadway show and you're not supposed to be recording. But there were a ton of videos and all of the comments, even on TikTok and Instagram, everybody was like, damn, unfortunately,
Not
she did such an
unfortunately.
amazing job.
Jesus.
Everybody was like, damn, unfortunately, she's done so well, or like, gosh, she did so well. But unfortunately, I don't like her, and blah, 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 blah. And so I don't know what she is going to have to do, but her team is going to need to get together, and the PR system is going to need to spin because her image is in the drain right now. But again, talented girl, and I knew she was going to do well. What do you? I know you saw the clip I sent you. What did you
I
think?
thought, but yeah, no, she sounded good. I think it was interesting. They talked about some of the changes that have been made to the show, since Lea Michelle has now entered and taken on the role of Fanny Bryce. Was well, I mean, I could understand that they've made some changes to music and they've added some songs, which sounds cool. That probably are better suited for a stronger vocal. Um, and then
I was going to say a
what I
stronger
found to be the
vocal.
most interesting is that there have been some changes made to the costumes, and I don't know how quite to feel about that. I'm not
Oh
sure
yeah, they
how
took
quite
them
to feel
sleeves
about
off,
that.
honey.
Um, and if that was a decision made by like if that was a collaboration between the actors and the costume designer or the directors and costume designer. I'm not exactly sure, but I thought it was interesting that this Fanny Bryce is showing a lot more skin um, in comparison to Beanie Feldstein's Fanny Bryce, who was very covered up. So I thought that that was kind of interesting. Overall, I think that they are starting to do the work. I think Lea Michelle's team is starting to do the work on changing the narrative and kind of getting us back to a point where she is America's sweetheart again. I don't think it will be an easy. I don't think it will be an easy journey. It's going to have to
Oh,
be
of course not.
very carefully crafted, but it's definitely doable.
Leah got in there and they said, "Turn the wigs around."
Yeah, which is I think it's interesting that
They
yeah,
just
this
did a
Fanny
whole
Bryce is a
180.
little less covered up than Beanie.
I mean, hey, as we've seen time and time again when artists come in to guest spot, and I know Leah's not guest spotting; she's actually taking over the role. But when they come in, they take liberties with the character, and maybe costume wise, how they look and stuff like that. So I don't necessarily find that too out of the norm. I know that there were a few videos I saw where people were, I guess, trying to relate it
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
fat phobic
Yep.
ishness because Beanie was a bigger girl and they had her covered up, and now Leah is a skinny thing
Yeah, I
and
thought that that was
got
interesting because
shoulders
Beanie
and
doesn't strike
clavicle
me
and
as that
arms all out
person,
and stuff.
but I don't know.
Maybe that's what Beanie was comfortable with. Maybe Beanie was comfortable with being covered up and didn't want to
Yeah.
like show. Like we don't know what these conversations were in the wardrobe room, so I mean, I can't speak to that, but I think, and if I'm coming into a role and I'm really, if I'm going to be here for a while, I want to make that role my own, and I want to be comfortable in the costume that I'm going to be in, and I want to make sure that I'm putting my best foot forward and that it's going to make me feel great so that I can do my best. And so maybe
Yeah, I
that's
don't
what
think
Leah
anyone.
did.
I
I
mean,
don't
we
know.
don't know, of course, but
Maybe
yeah, I
it
just
was
it's
a
one of the things
purposeful
that I
choice.
found to be interesting in terms of the quick turnaround.
hmm But other than that, again, like I said, I saw the performance. She did great.
All right.
Woo chow. That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
Good. We'll see
Last
how
but
she
certainly
does.
not least, Neo and his estranged wife Crystal Smith are at odds with one another in
Mm.
regards to their separation agreement. So, as this past week, Radar Online has reported that Neo has officially objected to Crystal's several requests. One for temporary spousal support, uh, second being permanent spousal support, as well as her petition for uh, sole physical custody of their children. Neo is basically saying that he wants to make sure that he's in his children's life and that he is an active and loving father to his children, that he believes that they should have joint physical custody. I have no problem with this. I think where people are starting to get a little a little tickled is Neo's petition of why he feels like he shouldn't have to pay spousal support. Have you heard about any of this? So,
What did he
um,
say? Because I'm sure it was
well,
something silly.
basically, I
That's
mean,
gotta be
he
something silly.
is saying in his statement, he's basically saying that while he has remained employed, Crystal has been formally unemployed at times during the marriage, and that she has benefited significantly due to her personal association with Neo and his career. Um, he also feels that she
Wait,
he
so
also
when you say
hold on. He
formally,
also
does that
feels that she
mean
possesses the
wait,
considerable
wait, wait?
ability to procure stable and consistent employment at this current time and following the dissolution of their marriage. He also wants her to pay for her own legal fees.
Bloop. So when he says
Chose to
formally,
be
that means
unemployed.
she's chose not to work. And
Yeah, I mean, he's
can
saying
she
he's like
work
she has
now?
all of she has the ability to gain employment. Like, why can't she work? What are your feelings? What are your thoughts on this?
I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I mean, if you're not married to this person
Yes,
anymore,
they have
they
kids
have kids
together, and
together though, don't
he
they?
said that he'll definitely do child support, but he wants joint
But not
custody
spousal
of
support.
the children, which probably lessens that amount of child support. Number one, and then number two, um, he does not want to pay any type of spousal support.
I agree with the make sure that
Yeah, and he
man
says
is
that's not a
paying child
problem.
support for them kids and making sure that they have a, but with the spousal support, I mean, how long and we've seen this time and time again, how long can you live off of someone's name until you kind of have to go out
I mean,
and
yeah, I
fend for
mean that's
yourself?
definitely part of it, right? But I think also, um, there is I think that this would be different had it not come out in such a public way. I don't know if you remember, and I don't think we did a story on
Right.
this, but during our break,
I do.
Crystal Smith took to social media to basically spill all of their tea out in a very public way, saying that she had been like that Neo had cheated on her and that this marriage is done, and all of these things. I think that that personally has something to do with it, um as to why he's maybe doing a little bit of pushback. Do I think that he'll be able to get away without paying anything? Probably not. But I do think that
No.
he's at least
Yeah,
putting up a
no.
fight, and I can't blame him for that. But at the end of the day, you want your kids to be comfortable, right? So if and if your kids, if the mother of your kids is happy, um, and has what she needs, your kids are going to be happy.
That's also very true. And I mean, if mom is struggling and taking care of these kids, that means the kids are struggling. So you got to make sure that she's in a. But at the same time, I also understand the whole aspect of like, well, look, ma, like you, what are you doing to help better your situation as well?
She also said that they agreed
I
at
don't want to
one
get
point
into
that
this.
she
He
wouldn't work
cheated,
while they were together.
but that was while they were together, right?
Yeah.
Not now that they're separated. So I think that agreement kind of goes out
Oof,
the
I
window,
don't
right?
know. This is tough. This is rough. Definitely a Wu
It's a
Chow.
sticky situation.
Okay,
Ooh,
let's take a
child.
break. And when we come back, we're going to do our spotlight shows of the week. We'll be right back. All right. Hey, pop stars, we are back, and it is time for our spotlight shows of the week. This week, I am covering HBO Max's Rap Shit. Issa Rae's second series with HBO follows the rise of a Miami-based female rap duo, Shauna and Mia. This is loosely based on the City Girls, and Rap Shit showcases the trials and triumphs of navigating today's music industry. Um, there are 8 episodes, 30 minutes, super easy watch. Uh, Marcus, I know that you watched this. Talk to me a little bit about what were your initial thoughts and reactions to the season.
I liked it. I thought it was really good. It definitely did start off a little slow. I think episode 1 and 2 were more focused on Shauna and Mia, and then episode 3 was focused on the rest of the cast. But after all of that was introduced, episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 really took off, and we really got to get to where we were going. Do you want me to give like my initial feedback, or are you going to break it down and I can just provide as we go?
I think we'll do some breakdowns, but just no, that was good for your initial thoughts. I agree. I did like it. I think that the sweet spot hit for me actually episode 4.
Hmm.
It that's where it kind of did a turning point for me. I was a little unsure where we were going at the beginning of this. I felt like they were introducing a lot of characters, but not really following up on them. There was just like quick introductions made, and some of these people showed up later, some of these people didn't show up at all, but I did find it to be pretty interesting. There were a couple of aspects of this that I do want to cover, um but I guess speaking at it from a holistic standpoint, what parts of this like did you enjoy most? What were the things that you could have done without?
I really enjoyed the scenes where they were making the music, the songs, and like
Hmm.
coming up with the songs. I could see myself visibly smiling at the screen, like, okay, this is good. Like I love the two. I loved Mia and Shauna coming up with the music. Like when Mia came up with that, the second song was like off of the Nam beat. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, this is really cute, really really cute. I also really like Duke's story arc. I told this to you already. I think to me Duke is the most fleshed out character out of everybody on the show so far, just because she has some place to go. We see where she started as a struggling promoter, and being really nice to all of the girls and kind of getting pushed walked over basically. Spending all this money on everybody to get them in spots and not getting the appreciation. And then her dad has to like put, is that her dad?
I think it's like an uncle figure.
An uncle or something puts her on game and is like, "Look, you are going about this all wrong." And you see the kind of the switch flip at the end of the season, and she's like, "Oh," but then you see it be validated in that last episode when the girl is like, "I do need you," and she's like, "Oh shit, he was onto something," and you can kind of see where it's going to go from here. And then I think that's an exciting part to see. So I enjoyed those parts. What I didn't like, um I'm gonna be honest. I think I like the Mia's character more than I like Shauna. Shauna
I think it's
seems a
designed
little,
to be like that.
and I'm gonna say I think it's probably written like this, which is I
Yeah.
guess kudos on the writing. Shauna seems very clueless, very selfish, very self-centered, and is a scammer basically. And I'm just kind of like, why aren't you checking on Mia? Like, why the whole New York episode? I was like, bitch, why didn't you ask her what the hell happened and why she needed a place to stay?
Hmm.
And then Shauna didn't even share that her and Cliff broke up or that he was cheating on her with Fatima or any of these things. And it's like, I need to see more of these sisterhood moments maybe, and I guess maybe it's because they weren't friends and they are still trying to get to know each other maybe. And so those are just kind of my initial thoughts, but like, you tell me, what do you think?
What I enjoyed most, I do love it. For me, the show is was a love letter to Miami.
It's
You know,
got to
I went
be,
to
yeah.
I spent some time in South Florida for grad school, and kind of, it speaks, and every from all of the little uh sh- d- just decisions about shots made and like where they would film and things like that. They definitely showcased the city very well, and I thought that that was I really did enjoy that aspect. There were a couple of pieces that I wasn't sure exactly how to feel, and we'll kind of get. I want to talk a little bit about it later on as we unpack this, but just kind of the overarching idea of scam culture and how it may
Ugh.
have been glamorized a bit in this particular project. I do want to. I mean, we see something happening at the very tail end of this, and we don't even know where that's going to go. But I do want to talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, just the that's probably what I did not. That's probably what I liked the least about it.
Hmm.
What I found to also be really interesting, and I want to get your thoughts on this, is that the show heavily incorporates social media. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's in every scene, every episode. They're either on live, they're doing a drop, they're doing something like that. How did you feel about them using social media as a storytelling device?
I didn't mind it, but I think they need to use it less. Give me more actual setup scenes. Those are the ones that I was really invested in. Like when we got an actual multi-camera scene. Um, don't and without the social media overlay templates that they would put on
Yeah,
the screen. I think it's fine to like because we live in a social media world, and so I think it's fine to start each show or start each episode like that and through videos and stuff like that. But at some point during the middle of the episode, let's ground this a little bit more in reality versus social media. And then
yeah,
if you want to tack on some things towards the end or not, totally fine. But it is a little jarring because I don't want to watch a full episode through like shaky video clips and stuff like that because it's supposed to have the social media aspect to it. Give me like let's ground this in a little bit of reality and then sprinkle the social media in on top of that. I think that's my thoughts.
yeah. I thought it was clever. It was definitely new. I don't think any,
Yeah.
there
No,
are
there's
shows
been
that
some
try to
shows who've
do
done
it, but
this.
this was done in a
Yeah.
different way that, kind of made the show stand out a little bit for me. I hadn't seen social media incorporated this in such a way maybe since, like, I don't know, maybe like a Gossip Girl or something like that. The new Gossip Girl. Um,
Yeah.
the characters. So let's move on to the characters. So I want to focus on three of the main characters here. First up is Shauna. Shauna,
Mhm.
when we meet her at the beginning of this series, she is a very woke, socially progressive rapper. She has like face paint, and her lyrics are all about, very much like black empowerment, female
No, that's a
empowerment,
mask.
um,
That's a mask,
those
not
those
face
types of
paint.
things. And um when we finish this season, she's a part of this rap duo that, heavily is talking about, scamming and, scheming, and how, to seduce and scheme, and things like that. And
Seduce
so
and scheme.
it's very much a 180 for me. And so to kind of see her journey through this. I know Duke also has a journey through this, but Shauna also has quite a journey from where we first meet her to the finish of this. There's the dissolution of her relationship, as well as there might be some impending legal consequences that might be on the horizon for her. How did you feel about her actual journey, and did you feel like that we saw enough from Shauna to kind of buy into her and to be at least empathetic to her situation?
Right now, I am not empathetic to her situation. While I find it very interesting, and I definitely think all of the characters had a story arc. I just think Duke's was the most prominent to me. I think where Shauna starts versus where she ends this season, she is like that woke rapper who, she doesn't want to sell out. She wants to be true to her art form, but then she's realized that she's not winning. That's not what people want to hear. That's not what people want to see. Like you
Right.
and I have talked about this plenty. Like uh, America, millennials, generations have such short attention spans, and it's like you've got to catch like you want to make it in this music business. You've got to catch their attention.
Yeah.
That's where I think Francois was trying to like get in her head. But I think he went about it a shady way, and they kind of effed her over a little bit. And so I understood the beef there, but I feel like it was a total 180. It would have been nice to maybe see her slide into this a little bit more instead of one episode
Yeah.
going from Erica Badu to the City Girls. And it's like, okay, so who is the real you then? Like, what is the real you?
I
Because
think it was
clearly it's somewhere
gradual.
the space in
I
between.
do think it was gradual, and I think that they tried to like. There was a point in which her boyfriend at the time did try to like pull her back and be like, "Hey, like, is this what you're? This is what we're doing now. This is what we're like.
But he said he
This is
liked
where we're
it. That's the
going."
why I was confused.
He
When
didn't
they
like
were
it
in
at
New
first.
York, he said he liked
Not
it.
at first. He didn't
Because
like it.
when they were in bed, he was like, "I see you got new makeup and eyelash." He was like, "This is really
I
good."
mean,
I
he
said, "This
liked
looks
the.
really
I think he
good."
liked the physical, but then once he started to hear the music and see like the direction it was going in, he did have issues with it, and he did do some pushback. Um, Cliff is the
And
boyfriend that we're talking about.
and speaking of Cliff can kick rocks any damn
Okay.
way because his opinion to me doesn't even matter. After that whole episode 5, are you gonna put me on live and try to break up with me, nigga?
Yeah, I had
First
not
off,
seen
the
anything like
phone would
that.
have been
That was
flu.
definitely a first for me. Let's move on.
Yeah,
Let's move on to Mia. Mia, when we first meet her, in the series, she is a uh, she works on OnlyFans.
she's a
Um,
multifaceted
and
entrepreneur.
she entertains the company of gentlemen from time to time. She's a single mom who is pseudo separated from the dad. They have a co-parenting relationship. But when we do uh, finish the season, Mia is stepping more into this music role and taking more of an ownership of the music and of the performance, um, which is definitely very different. She, from the beginning of this, she to me seemed like she was not fully on board of like this is what I want to do. And this was kind of just something that she was kind of like riding to see where it went. I don't know if you got that impression, but that's the impression that I got. And at the end of this, she was definitely engaged, involved, and kind of also knee deep in like the progression of the duo.
I definitely thought she was going to be just the hype man, but I loved her story arc and how she kind of came into her own. Um, I let me tell you, I have a crush on her baby daddy. Like,
Wow.
I think he is so
No.
cute, and I love the actor who plays him. I think he did a really good job of not just portraying him as this music producer fuckboy, but like he actually has some like depth to him. I really liked her baby
I think it
daddy.
was
I
cool. I
thought
don't
I
have
was
a
like,
I don't
okay,
have a crush or anything like that. But
I
okay,
do,
let's talk
I do.
about Duke. I know you said that this was one of your favorite characters. Um you've kind of already shared with us a little bit about Duke's journey and the story where Duke goes to. what I found to be the most interesting about Duke's character, which I don't know if we're going to really see change much, but Duke is starting to step into the role of a mini mogul, if you will.
A
Like has
businessman. Yeah, yeah.
Duke Duke has their hand in a lot of different bags, and I think I'm not sure exactly what Duke's pronouns are, but Duke at the beginning of this has their hand in a lot of different bags. So he Duke is a pimp and has like all of these women that work for him on throughout Miami. But then he also wants to be a manager, and then he's also a concierge for celebrities and helping them kind of secure certain things that they want. Um, I think what we will see, and hopefully what the season is setting us up for, if they get a season two, is that Duke starts to kind of figure out that the music could be a potential way out of the daily hustle and bustle of having to wear so many hats. Um, and there's a very interesting relationship that he has, or that Duke has with, um, who I will say is probably the main hoe. Is that what they
What
like to
was
be
her
called?
name?
Main hoe? The primary hoe?
Well, that's what they call. That's what Duke called
The
them.
primary lady of the night? I'm not sure exactly what the correct terminology is, but a very interesting relationship that they have here that we saw where it ended and play out with, the primary hoe actually submitting to Duke to her pimp. But I'm very interested to see where this goes, because I don't think that this is the last situation that Duke will put her in.
Oh no. Not at all. And I think the only other thing I wanted to say about Duke, first off, let's refer to Duke as they them until we figure out what Duke's pronouns actually are, because I don't know
Yeah,
either.
you need to figure that out.
But I think did Duke threaten them and be like, I can make y'all or I can break y'all? But it's like, well, you're not gonna have no money if you break them. So like it's very interesting to see this symbiotic relationship start to form between the three of them, between Mia, Shauna, and Duke, because clearly Duke has no career if Mia and Shauna are not together. So it's in Duke's best interest to make sure that they stay together as a
Well, Duke's
group.
gonna make
And
it.
so I don't think Duke
Duke's
can,
gonna hustle
huh?
regardless, but I think
I think I think you're right with the point of Duke is starting to realize that this music thing might be the
yeah,
way out,
yeah.
and so it's therefore it behooves everybody to get along and get on board so that we can make this thing happen. Which is how they ended up on the tour. Can we talk about this white girl though? This white
I
girl
thought that that
rapper.
was interesting, and I think that kind of brings us to a the conversations, or like the social commentary that this show provides on certain things, and one of those is kind of the whitewashing of rap, of hip hop, and we see that play out through this character. Um, what do you want to say about this? I think who I would probably closely tie to like a Chanel West Coast or an Iggy Azalea kind
As
of
Iggy
person. Yeah.
Azalea. Yeah. So first off, the very first
And
song
I
that
don't
they
even know what
play
her
from
name is. I
her
can't
from the
remember what her
music
name is.
video, I can't either. But the very first song, like in episode 2 or something like that, while it was so funny, it was actually kind of catchy. I was like, okay, this is kind of
Hmm.
catchy. But what made me laugh was the scene, I think it may be like 5 or 6, where she was like in the car and like being videotaped, and he was like, talk your shit. And she was like, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, hold on, I'm gonna talk my shit. I said, I
Yeah.
laughed so hard. And he was like, okay, so I'm gonna have to literally go everywhere with you
Yeah.
now. Like I can't leave you alone, girl. What is this? So
Yeah,
funny
there
to
was
me.
a lot. I'm trying to figure out what I don't know exactly what that the actor's name was, or what the character's name was, but I think one of the things it's kind of showcasing is like, how many people are out there. Um it peeled back the curtain on how many people are out there who are not about that life and just kind of really trying to cash in on something that is catchy and hot.
Cosplaying.
Um
Cosplaying as a
I also
rapper.
love the you spoke a little bit about Mia's baby daddy. Uh
Shauna's man was fine
um
too. The Haitian
yeah,
man.
but Mia's baby daddy, I just love the I loved showing a black father who in a successful kind of co-parenting relationship. I thought that that was really cool, super refreshing. Not something that we see all the time. Um, Back to the conversation that
Agreed.
I brought up a little bit earlier. I do feel like as though that the show was glamorizing scam culture just a bit. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, the title song is "Seduce and Scheme." Like, come on, like let's just talk about it. And then for those who don't know, Mia also, not Mia, excuse me, Shauna runs like she is on a like a scam. She runs a scam with um a close friend of hers, in which she takes credit cards from the hotel that she works at and shares those credit card numbers with a, I don't know if they're potential love interest. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there with the guy, but
A
they
fling.
obviously have some type of scheme where they're going out and stealing these credit cards. Without giving too much away, it doesn't stay like that forever, but I do think at times the show did glamorize scam culture, and it's a lot of shows have been doing that recently, with Inventing Anna and um many shows that we've covered on here. What are your thoughts? Do you feel like Rap Shit did that, and if so, or if not, how come?
I don't necessarily think it was glamorized. I think they're clearly setting something up here. I think while scheming can be great and profitable for a period of time, it's not sustainable. And at some point, it's going to catch up with you. And I think we saw that throughout the season because we got mentions of Shauna already being nervous about doing it because she was like, I don't want to do any of the heavy lifting. I don't want to be involved in any of that. She was like, that's why I say when you say I think she was helping out on the scheme. I don't think she was just like a main
No,
integral
she was
part of
definitely
the
an
scheme.
integral
Like she
part
was
of it
getting them.
because she had
I don't know
she
about
had to go
that,
back.
just because of
Remember
her
when he spoke to
reservations.
her in code on the phone, and she had to go back and delete like all of the stuff. Yeah,
Right, that's
like
what I'm
she was in
saying. Like,
it.
well, it was just all of the card and the
Yeah, she's
cards. That's what I'm
she's
saying. I think she
involved.
was helping. I, I that's what I know she's involved, but I don't think this was her idea. I think she was brought into this to help out because of the situation that she was in and didn't have any money. But like clearly, this is the other boy and those two other Haitian boys. This is their scheme because they're the ones doing all the heavy lifting and all of this equipment and sending it off and getting the money because he was giving her money, her cut. So she was helping out, but she's not clearly not the
I'm
mastermind
not saying
behind
she's the
this.
mastermind, but she's definitely involved, and I think you know I think you have to kind of also look beyond just that instance. That is like that itself isn't a scheme. Duke getting these women to work and them not getting paid, that's a scheme. Like these people are like, it seems like everyone is running a scam down here, and I think that in some type of way they are glamorizing it because we're not, or we at least haven't yet seen the full consequences of what that does. I think that we're trying to see
Right.
a little bit with Mia's character, who is the epitome of seduce and scheme. Um, and there is one instance in which it plays out with her in the hotel room in New York of when scamming goes wrong.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I
Yeah.
mean we do see
Yeah.
that one instance, but we only hear about it. We don't get to actually see what happens. And so I think decisions like that, in which we don't actually get to see what plays out, it's only alluded to, kind of, to me, glamorizes that scam culture.
At the end of the day, I feel like this season as the inaugural season definitely set up a lot of storylines that could I'm sure we'll see. Hopefully they get a season 2. I'm sure they will. This was a solid show
It is
and we'll
solid.
get more into the
Do you feel like
scam
people are
culture.
watching it?
Yeah,
I
I heard a
don't
lot
feel
of
like that
people
there's a
watching it and
lot of
stuff. I was just
conversation going
late.
on social media about rap shit, and it is a little like, because I do want people to watch it. I think it's a really good show. I would love for it to get a season 2, and it might just because it is Issa's project. Um, but I don't know if people are. I don't know how many people are watching it. I would love to see like what ratings and things look like for this show.
I mean, it's the first season too, like a brand new idea, original show. it may take a little bit of time to catch on. I mean, like Insecure wasn't like a huge hit
It
its
was.
first season. Like it was towards the end. It was towards the end of the first season into the second that it really, really caught up.
Mm, I don't
Like
know.
people who knew Awkward Black were obviously tuned into Insecure, but like it didn't really get a big audience until like the end of season one.
Okay.
So I mean, give it some time. It's a slow burn. Let it. We want to pace ourselves. We don't want to burn out like some of these other shows.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Child. Anyway,
That's all
so
I
I
have to
think
say.
that though that was it for me. Any last thoughts that you have on rap shit?
I'm intrigued to see where this how this tour works out that they go on at the end of the season. And just more character development. I think they've set the foundation and now let's start to build
Yeah.
a house.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a break. And when we come back, Marcus is going to cover Uncoupled for us. We'll be back.
Uncoupled. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It is time for my spotlight TV show of the week, and we're going to talk about Uncoupled on Netflix. Let me pull up the IMDb because that's where I'm going to start all of this. So, this is a show that is starring Neil Patrick Harris and Tisha Campbell, and then Tuck Watkins and Marsha Gay Harden, Brooks Ashmanskis.
Mhm.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and Emerson Brooks. They kind of fill out the main cast. Um, Give me your initial thoughts on this trend. I know we both watched, and so I guess with the caveat that this is a gay show. It is a gay storyline and stuff like which we need more of, and so it was very refreshing. And then of course Neil Patrick Harris is an iconic actor and very well established in the gay community and straight community when it comes to acting and stuff. And so I was very excited to see him in this role. What are your initial thoughts
Um,
on the show?
I think going in, I knew that there would be Darren Star is at the helm of is right at the show and kind of the creation of it. Darren Star, who you
Hmm.
may be most familiar with, works Sex in the City, and it's definitely a
I'm going to get
nod
into
to
that.
Sex in the City, and it's definitely to me probably as close as we can get to getting like a gay male version of Sex in the City. I think that this would probably be something as close or and just like that if you really want to go there, that's kind of more so what it's closely related to. But I think it had a lot of those same notes and nods, at times very comedic, very whimsy, very slapstick, um lots of physical, there's some physical comedy in there. So a lot of the things that you would see that kind of make you miss Sex in the City overall, I would say I was excited about the show all the way up until the end. The final episode is what like ruined it for me, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I to kind of hit off to kind of hit off of what you said, I agree. The first from the first episode, after hearing the music, I was like, "This is Sex in the City." I said, "This is definitely taking a lot of elements from Sex in the City," and I don't mind that. I'm not mad at that. I don't. Um, I think that overall, the story was. If I'm giving a solidness to the story, I will put it at about a 7, maybe a 6.5, 6.5, because I think that there is still some work to do. Um, yeah, it was very. I you hit it. You made a very good point about how the end of the season, how it ended, was very
Yeah.
like, huh, what, what? So let's get into before we get to the end of the season finale. Let's get into some of the story arcs a little bit here first, and let's start with Neil Patrick Harris's character Michael and Tuck Watkins' character Colin. They are the couple at the center of this story, who we see at the beginning. Um, Tuck's character, Michael. Is it Mike? Wait, was Michael or Colin? Colin and Michael. Colin is, you could tell something's up and he's having reservations about their relationship. How long did they say they had been together?
Yeah.
Like 10 years,
Yep.
14 years, something like that. They lived together, have carved out this life for them, and then Colin, I guess, one day decides that this is not what he
17
wants or
years.
whatever, and so 17 years, and so Michael throws him like a surprise. Or is it a 40th
I
birthday
believe so.
party? 50th birthday party?
No, fifth
One of those two,
50s.
and I would say
Yep,
yeah, it was a
50s.
50th birthday party, and Colin throws this 50th surprise 50th birthday party for Michael, who clearly said that he didn't want one beforehand, and then Colin did it anyway, and then Michael broke up with
So
him at the
you got them
party basically
switched.
before they
Neil
even
Patrick
walked into the
Harris is
party.
Michael, Tuck Watkins is Colin.
Oh shit, I do. Yes. So, well, yeah, I said that Colin broke up with
You said
Michael.
that Colin threw Michael a 50th birthday party.
Oh, Michael threw Colin a 50th birthday party. Sorry. Yes. And then as they were walking in, Colin was like,
Right.
I don't want to be together anymore. And so that kind of sets up the stage for this series and for this season and what the plot and stuff is going to be about. It's about at 50 years old in the gay community, is there life after 50? Is there dating and romance after 50, especially in the gay community? And so we start to unpack that a little bit, and then we bring in our side characters, aka our best friends, who are come in the form of Tisha Campbell's Suzanne, Emerson Brooks's Billy, and Brooks Manskis's Stanley. And this is where I saw the Sex in the City parallels, because it was very obvious that Billy Emerson Brooks's character was Samantha, Brooks's character Stanley was Charlotte, and then Tisha Campbell's character was Miranda, and then Neil Patrick Harris's character is Carrie, because they all have situations and storylines that very closely parallel those of the girls in Sex in the City. I agree with you with the my main qualm with Michael and Colin's storyline was that Colin's explanation of why he didn't want to be in the relationship kind of came out of nowhere. There was no backstory or there was no foundation set to really express how he felt or why he felt the way that he felt. He just suddenly moved out and then wanted to be with somebody else. And then we get to that final episode and it's like, huh? What? Like none of this was earned really. Like did he even earn, like we didn't get to see enough of
Right.
Colin's journey throughout the season for him to end up where he ended at the final
No, I
episode.
totally agree. It did definitely come out of nowhere. And I think um, the show really tried hard to make sure that there were some things left open for a season two. Um,
A
what I
second
found the
season,
most
yeah,
troubling about the
for
side
all of the
characters,
characters.
I thought it was very weird what they did with the character of Billy. Emerson Brooks' character is a black male,
Yes.
and it almost seemed like they had written the majority of the season and said, you know what, we have not acknowledged that this man is black. Let's go pepper in some black
Or that he exists.
colloquialisms and pepper in some black behavior, um, just to make sure that everyone gets and understands that a this is a black man that is here. Um, what I was most uncomfortable with is the relationship with Suzanne and her son. I thought that that was like very weird, very odd. How close her and Kai were, and definitely made me like be like, what is happening here? What is this? Um, I did
I
not like
didn't
it.
mind
I didn't
that.
like it. I thought it 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 made me feel uneasy. They're super close. She was like kicking it with his friend, and then there could have she wanted to flirt with the friend. Now mind you, Kai is of age. I think he's like in his 20s. He is
He's
in his
an
20s,
adult.
and the friend was in his
Yeah.
20s too. But it just seemed to me, it just seemed a little odd. Her relationship with the son, and then also her relationship with the son's friend. Um, the Going back to Colin and Michael, I think for me, there really wasn't. I don't think there was any development of Michael. He was the same character throughout the entire series. And we don't see Colin
There was no
much. We see
growth.
Colin in the first episode, and then we see maybe like pictures of him or clips of him
He's
peppered
in
in
4
throughout
episodes.
the season, and we don't see him until
Yeah.
the season finale. So I don't feel like we got enough of either's characters, as you said, like journey or development, for them to come out on the side of the season different. I also didn't know what to make of Marcia Gay Harden's character as well. It was just kind of like a like let's throw in this person. What I would have rather seen is Andre DeShield's character being brought in and used a lot more. The character of Jack, I personally that probably was my favorite character of the entire series, because he has a very real talk like, let me teach you, young child, with Michael. She has like a very like come to Jesus moment with Michael, in which Jack imparts wisdom just of about what it's like to be a gay man and to kind of live love in the city. Um, for me, I think Uncoupled, it's cute enough. It's cute enough and bouncy and camp enough to kind of continue, but there's really no big stories being told here.
There definitely needs to be a little bit of rework if they get a season 2. I agree. I think Andre DeShield's character Jack needs to be a floater throughout this series and like, pop in from time to time and like maybe we get an episode every season that's solely dedicated to just him and like his backstory and stuff like that. I would agree with that. I also agree with the fact that again, Colin was only in like 4 episodes, and again, we didn't get to see his point of view, how he was dealing with this, why he was dealing with all of this. And then I guess a little bit of a spoiler alert, like at the end of the season, he ends up changing his mind. And it's like, how did we get here? You've literally spent 6 episodes talking about how much you don't like this person and you don't want to be with this person. And then you spend a couple of hours at a wedding with
I
him, and
made a
now all of a sudden
mistake.
you're ready to get back together. It's like,
It's like Get Out.
make this make
I would have
sense,
said Get
girl.
Out.
Like this, yeah,
I would have
I
said
don't.
and yet you did
Absolutely.
Get Out. You did make a mistake, and now go.
Absolutely. But at the same time, I also agree with you about Neil Patrick Harris's character. There was very
Yeah,
minimal growth throughout this season from where he
yeah.
started to where he ended. Um, I also agree with you about Billy Brooks's character, Emerson Brooks's character, about what are we doing with him? Like we need to ground him a little bit more. Like it's fine if we want this character to play loose and fast and be sleeping with everyone, but it was also very clear by his portrayal that this is not necessarily what he wanted. He was doing this because it was maybe expected of him or he was getting results rather quickly, but from the portrayal it kind of seemed like he wanted something a little bit more, and he had found that with that boy who
Yeah,
checked him, and then it just kind
yeah,
of
I felt
dissolved.
like that the writers chose to take the two friends, not Tisha Campbell's character, but basically Billy and Stanley,
But the
and
other
to really
one,
kind of
yeah.
like
Hmm.
let's just fluff and blow them up in the very last episode. Mind you, these episodes are only 30 minutes, and so for you to take us through
Yeah.
Stanley's diagnosis of cancer, and now we got to figure out exactly who's going to be going with him to the hospital, and Billy, who is now professing his love for this child, this, this child,
This
but
boy we
also
don't even
struggling
know.
with like trying to get other people's. It just seemed like, okay, well, what is going on? And seemed to be a little all over the place. I don't know if they, like I said, I don't know if they were just trying to make sure that they had enough threads open for season two, but it came across as very much rushed and just kind of slapped together.
All in all, if they get a season 2, I can see where this was going. But like I said, we need to make some pivotal changes, just like that. Like we need to make some pivotal changes to really elevate this show and get it back on the tracks. Because right now, after that season finale, it definitely came off the tracks. I agree, it's a cute show. I love the concept, and I think it has potential. And I'm glad to see Tisha Campbell back in another sitcom,
Same.
and Neil Patrick Harris for that matter. But we need a little bit more, and so I think this sits at like a 6.5, 6 for me now. I'm gonna even take the 7 back. This is like a 6 for me now. What are you
Yeah.
giving it?
If I'm giving it a number, Yeah, I think a 6 is fair.
Yeah, there's definitely room for improvement. So, other than that, that's all I had. Like it was, like I said, it was a solid show, a cute show, but there's definitely things that need to be reworked
Okay.
fundamentally.
Well, with that, we will take a break. And when we come back, we will be back with our signature segment of the week, Fizz or Flat. We'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? We are back, and it is time for Fizz or Flat. Trent, tell us about it.
So, this is the part of the show where Marcus and I get to review the top pop culture moments of the week, give them a fizz if we're feeling them, or a flat if we're not. Marcus, what do you have up for us first?
So I wanted to do a brief mention of this, but we will be doing a individual segment on this. But we never got to talk about Renaissance.
Yes.
We're gonna break it down because song by song, we may even wait for the visuals to come out. But I wanted to give this a quick fizz because Renaissance has been on repeat since freaking July 29th. It's September.
Yeah. So,
How is that possible? How, Sway?
I mean, when it's good, it's good. It's definitely hitting. She took her time, and it's being played 24/7 around this house. So,
Just so briefly, and we'll move on. All right, so I'm assuming you're giving this a fizz, right?
yeah, no, I love that. I love the album. I think it's a lot of great songs on the album. Um, Everyone is talking about like how their songs have switched. My songs really haven't switched. My favorite songs have not switched. I mean, I do like all of them, but I'm sticking to my guns.
My favorite song hasn't switched, but I will say that I have definitely given every song like the attention it deserves.
Good.
I've literally spent week after week listening to one, but I've two. My top two, Heated and Virgo's Groove, are my top two.
Okay. Nice. I
Who
do
is your
like
top?
Virgo's Groove. I really do like Virgo's Groove. It's got a nice vibe. I like the beat.
You really love
I
Church Girl though.
I do like Church Girl too. I do like that one. My two favorite songs are Plastic Off the Sofa and America Has a Problem. Those are my two favorites.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I could definitely see Plastic Off the Sofa because you're an R&B girl. Uh, but America Has a Problem. I wouldn't have lay
Yeah.
pegged that one for you. I would have pegged Church Girl as your top two.
I no Church Girl is cool too, but I do like America Has a Problem is probably my favorite. Yeah.
Is that the one that's like her dun 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 dun, that has the little
Yeah.
beat? The
Yeah.
you seen the TikTok video of the boy?
Yeah. I did. It was very cute.
That's my shit.
Yeah. Killing it.
um okay, but yeah, I wanted to just give us a quick fizz. We will be doing it once the visuals and stuff come out. We will be doing our own individual segment on this, but it's a fizz for me.
Definitely a fits for me as well. Um, Up next, this past week, the official White House portraits of both Barack and Michelle Obama were unveiled at the White House, and both beautiful in their own right. President Obama's portrait was painted by artist Robert McCurdy, and Michelle Obama's portrait was painted by Sharon Sprung. Um, Love to see that they're now going to be forever, part of the White House with these portraits. I think
As they
what
should be.
what is really cool. So this is definitely a fizz for me. What I found to be the most interesting is that with this, there's this whole pomp and circumstance of the White House unveiling, and there's a ceremony that's it's been, I think, since like the 60s or 70s, with Jimmy Carter, who brought Gerald Ford back to do the unveiling of theirs. So it's going, yeah, this is like back in like 78. There's always been this like pomp and circumstance. Um, but I like how we just like skipped right over Donald Trump. It was like, we're going to go make sure that the Obamas have this. And the White House press secretary, when they asked her about it, she was like, basically her answer was like, that's above me. She was like, you'll have to talk to the White House Historical Association on that, because they were asking, is Trump or President Trump and Melania, are they going to get portraits, which I highly doubt. I don't think that they will. Do you think they will?
Hey, I mean, if they're keeping with tradition, they have to because I mean, he is in the history books. He was president.
I don't
But
think
is there
Biden is
but
going to do it. I don't think Biden's in a rush.
see, I don't think there will be a ceremony. I think they'll just be quietly put up maybe. I
I
don't think there
doubt
will
it.
be this whole big ceremony or anything, but I mean, he was president, so I don't know. I wouldn't,
He
but
was
if they're
impeached.
keeping with tradition, I mean, Bill was impeached and he got a photo.
That is true. Problematic,
Bill
but
and
true.
Hillary up there.
Problematic, but true.
So, but the portrait, as far as Obama, Barack, and Michelle's portraits,
I
beautiful.
Fizz.
Love it. I
Yeah,
love
they
how
looked great.
Michelle is like leaned back. I said, "Girl, you better lean back on this
He said, "I
couch."
love how you captured all the things I love about Michelle." That was my little moment that I liked.
Yeah, total
So,
fizz for me.
Fizz for me as well.
What else do we got? Oh, big news, major history making news. The first drag queen on Dancing with the Stars, darling.
Mm.
Let me tell you something. Honey, Shangela is a hustler.
Yeah,
She
she
is a
definitely is.
hustler. She knows the rooms to be in. She knows who to talk to because she keeps the relevancy. Like she was like, Drag Race who, baby? I've moved on to bigger and better
Hmm.
things. Like Shangela has been on Big Brother. Shangela's now on Dancing with the Stars. Like she knows what she's doing,
She's
and
on
I'm
We're
I'm here
Here.
for it. We're here, right? We're here, and so I don't want to go through the entire cast because I really don't care, and I don't think that all of them are stars. But the two main standouts to me that I will be checking in on, I probably still won't be watching the show, but Shangela and Wayne Brady. I honestly think Wayne Brady's going to win.
Could be. Shangela could also win. You know, sometimes they get these dancers in here and they do really, really well. But it's really, I think, dependent upon the fans. It's also cool. I think for me, I'll probably throw Jordan Sparks in there as well. I'm glad that she's a part of the cast.
Mm,
And I will be
sure.
watching her. I do, yeah, I've like loved Jordan Sparks ever since her days with American Idol. I think what's also really cool is Selma Blair, who's a part of the cast. I think that that's
Oh
like a different
yeah,
vibe, and I
yeah.
applaud that she's like doing this. For those who don't know, Selma Blair's had like a very long history with, oh gosh, what is, I'm I forget where her diagnosis is. Let me look
It's
it
the
up
same thing that Michael J.
because I
Fox
don't want to make
has.
sure, I don't want to misdiagnose Miss
What does
Selma
Michael J.
Blair.
Fox have?
But she is doing this, and I think like I said, I think it's really cool that she's going to be included in this. Um, but she has what was it? Multiple
It's like something with
sclerosis.
her.
That's what it is.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she is gonna be she's a part of this cast, which I think is also history making in itself. So
Agreed, agreed,
so if
agreed.
it's for me, I
So,
love to see Shangela. Shangela's one of my favorite drag queens. Um,
same.
Great to see Wayne Brady too, I guess. But also kudos to
Huh?
Jordan and Selma.
What you talking about, Willis? I saw your little eye roll on Wayne Brady. What kind of beef you got with Wayne?
I don't have any beef with Wayne Brady. I don't. Hmm. I'm not. I guess I'm not as closely like tied to Wayne Brady as I am maybe like Shangela and Jordan.
So I will say this: last year, when I was working remotely, I used to during the middle of the day watch Let's Make a Deal, and he is really really good on the show. Like he's the host of Let's Make a Deal on CBS,
Hmm.
and like that's what really got me to like him more because he's really really nice to the contestants. He's really really nice to a lot of the guest stars
Isn't
who
that
show up and
nice?
stuff like that. I've been a fan, but like I was like Wayne, yes, I love this. And so I'm excited to see what he could do. I think, like I said, Wayne can dance. Don't get it twisted. Wayne's
No,
probably going to
I
surprise
think
a lot of
Wayne can
people.
definitely dance. We've seen him in musicals. We've seen him do Kinky Boots. He definitely has it. Shangela is a dancer as well. Like I think that they'll
Hmm.
do. I think both of them will do very well. I don't know about Jordan's ability,
Yeah, I don't
and
know.
would love to be. I think regardless of how Selma does, it's just amazing that she's doing it and being up there.
Yeah. So a fizz for Wayne and Shangela. Rooting for everybody black.
Yeah.
Okay, what else you got?
I wanted to really quickly give a quick shout out to Francis Tiafoe, who is 24.
It's Francis Tiafo.
Tiafo, thank you. He is 24 from Maryland, and he is a kind of taken the tennis world by storm. Recently became the first African American man to reach the U.S. Open semifinal since I believe the year is 1972.
Since
Since
Arthur Ashe.
not since Arthur Ashe have we had an African American man in the semifinal. So I really want to send a big congratulations shout out to him. I don't think that he won the match um, against Carlos Alcaraz, who is also in there.
A
Carlos is also
teenager.
killing it and doing some really cool things. So I mean, definitely tip my hat to him. But Francis definitely wanted to shot him out, and it's a huge fizz. I think as we think about tennis, um, it's not a we don't have a lot of black men who are doing it professionally at a very heightened level, and so it's great to see someone get some shine.
So first off, that's not true, and I see how you try to take my gig here with professional tennis.
Oh, did you put this on the
Um,
sheet?
no, I
Oh, I didn't
didn't,
see it
but
because
clearly,
I would have definitely not. But you feel like there's a lot of black men that are doing it at a heightened level?
well, clearly, I'm the tennis girl,
Okay.
so I would know this. Yes, you've got men like, so first off, you've got Francis Tiafo, you've got Gael Monfils, you had James Blake, who was retired, but he played at a really high level. He's also commentating right
Did they
now.
reach the
You
U.S.
also
Open
have this.
semifinal?
James did not, but he reached semifinals. The U.S. Open. So first off, the U.S. Open is one of four slams that they have throughout the year, and James has reached the semifinals of a few slams. He's never won a slam, I don't think. Gael Monfils is also top tier black male tennis player, but he's from France. And then there's this new kid who's from Canada. His name is Felix Augustus Alisime, I think is how you
Oh yeah,
pronounce
girl,
his
you got it
name.
down.
This young black kid, who's also really like they are
I
there.
don't think that
And
there's
then
that
lest
many.
we forget,
But I think that this is
there's not a lot,
I don't think that
but
there's
they're
that many,
there.
and I don't want to. I want to make sure that we don't like downplay Francis and this accomplishment. I think it's
Oh
amazing
no.
that we do have someone that's been able to do this, and like the fact that we haven't had someone at in the U.S. Open semifinals since 1972. I think it is a big deal.
So, just a quick little history lesson with the U.S. Open and black men. So that weight used to be on a young gentleman's shoulders named Donald Young, who was a black tennis player who was doing really, really well, and then he got into some complications off of the court physically, and then I think with some other things, and he was never ever really able to get back to that high level. For Francis, Francis has been in this game for a while now. He is not new to this. He is true to this. I have followed Francis's career since he was a hitting partner with Serena Williams, because that's how he started out as. And then he went pro himself on the men's tour, and he has slowly worked his way up, and he is playing at an extremely high level right now. I just think he kind of imploded because I watched this match against Carlos Alcaraz. I think he imploded a little bit because he beat Nadal, and Nadal is the number two player in the world and also has 22 Grand Slam titles, excuse me. So that was also a huge deal for Francis because that's the biggest win he's ever had in his career. I absolutely agree with you that Francis, I was yelling at my TV screen listening to Francis and stuff like that. So, or watching him play. And so I definitely think he has what it takes to win a slam. He just has to kind of keep his mental together because I think he kind of imploded in that semifinal match.
And that's okay. I think
I
you know
should be a
I mean he's
commentator.
still young. He's 24. I think he'll have um another opportunity to get up there, but I think it's a huge accomplishment and want to give him a big shout out. So it's definitely a fizz for me.
It's a fizz for me, but let's also be clear: 24 in tennis years is not young.
Okay, but I mean I think he will have an opportunity to play again and do well.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course. Of course. I mean, like he's got the momentum behind him now. And so I want to see where he takes this. If I don't know if he'll make it into the end of the year championships this year because of his ranking, but I would love to kind of see how he translates this through the rest of the year, what tournaments he plays, and then also at the beginning of the year at the Australian Open in
Do you feel like
January.
it's a
So
big deal that he
big
made
ups
it
to Francis.
to this level to this place?
Absolutely. I mean, this is his first semifinal ever, and he's an American at the U.S. Open, so that's a big deal. And then on top of that, he's an African American. Well, I don't know if he's African American,
He's
but he is
African
a
American. I
black
think that's,
tennis
yeah, they
player.
are labeling him as African American.
Okay, but so yeah, this is a huge deal, and I absolutely give this a fizz
Okay,
too.
cool.
And second, thirdly, don't try to come for
I'm
my
not
tennis
trying to
gig
come for
now.
your
If you have
tennis
any
gig,
other
but you were
tennis
like, "That's
news,
not true," and I just want to make
you
sure.
need to
I'm
run it
like,
through
"This
me.
is a big deal." I feel like it is a big deal, and I don't feel like we have a lot
If
of
you
black.
stumble
I don't feel
upon,
like we have a lot of black men who are doing it at that level. There's not a wealth of black men in the
there's
industry.
not that you're right. True.
I
I just
just
wanted to
didn't
make
know
sure we
what part
highlight
was
the
not
other black
true.
men who are. I just wanted to make sure we highlighted the other black men who are also doing the damn
But when
thing.
they get to the U.S. Open semifinal, I will.
So okay, so they didn't make it to the. Well, first off, Gael didn't even play because he's injured. And Felix has made it to the semifinals of other slams,
Okay,
but you didn't
I'm
give him
talking
no
about over
props.
here, baby. I'm talking about U.S. Open. I'm talking about over here.
So I say all of that to say the next time you stumble across some tennis news, you consult me
No, baby,
first
I don't
before
have
you
to
show up to
consult
the
you.
podcast.
You are not the authority on
Okay,
tennis.
I am,
You're
and I
not.
am, and I am. So, anyways, is it my
It's your
go?
go,
Or
baby.
was that was yours? Wasn't it? The other one I wanted to talk about was just D23 happened this past weekend, or is happening this weekend, and a lot of huge shows have been
Can
announced,
you explain
like
what D23
Inside
is for
Out
those who
2.
might not know?
It's a Disney Expo where they just highlight all of the new Disney shows, TV shows, movies, projects, and things like that that they have coming up. They have it every year. And this is also the time where they make huge announcements about new projects that they're working on or reveal brand new trailers for things. I won't go through everything, but I just wanted to hit a few little highlights. The Mandalorian season 3 trailer is out. We got the news that a new Inside Out from Pixar, Inside Out 2, is in development. But the biggest news that everybody has been waiting on, The Little Mermaid, Halle Bailey. I I don't know if I can put into words how excited I am for Halle.
Mhm.
I just believe that Halle's career is going to skyrocket after this movie comes out. We already know she can sing, and from the teaser trailer we got, she sounds amazing. We didn't get to see her that much, so I think that they're still maybe working some things out with on the post side before we get like a full trailer and actually see her and the rest of the cast, because we know Melissa McCarthy is playing Ursula, and then we have, I think, is Harry Styles still attached to
I'm not
this, or did he
sure.
get? I think he got
I'm not
nixed.
sure.
I'm not quite sure, but I'm excited to see a full trailer. But I will ride or die for Halle Bailey. I've always been a fan of her and her sister Chloe, and I just think that her career is going to skyrocket off of this, and it's a huge fizz for me. Did you see the trailer?
I did see the trailer. I liked the trailer. I thought it was. I think they are going to. It's not coming out. I think until like May or something like that.
May
Yeah, so I
2023.
mean, we
May
have lots and
2023.
lots of time, and I think that they're just taking their time to kind of ration out this, in a way that will, that's going to create the most buzz around it. So we have quite a runway until the film's actually released. But I did really enjoy the trailer. I like that. Um, I did like. There's also word from D23 that there is going to be a prequel for The Lion King, entitled Mufasa. So,
Yes.
directed by Barry Jenkins, which I'm also excited for. I think that that will be really, really cool. A project that I'm going to definitely be looking out for and learning more about. But yeah, no, it seems like that they are well on their way to kind of creating a lot of cool programming. Haunted Mansion is also going to be a big focus for them in the future. It looks like they also brought out Jamie Lee Curtis, who's
Yep.
going to have a role, I believe, in the Haunted Mansion project. So it seems like that they have they have a lot of cool stuff going on. But I would say I would agree that I believe The Little Mermaid is what got people the most excited and definitely took the cake. This is going to be I think it's going to be an event.
Absolutely, absolutely. This was the pillar of D23. But I mean, you also don't forget Marvel also debuted their Secret Invasion trailer with Samuel L. Jackson. That's a huge project in the MCU, and so there's a lot of really cool projects. Black Adam, I think, had something at D23 or something as well with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. So I'm excited to just kind of see some of these projects, and I just something about a black mermaid just sits so well with me. Seeing a black girl like in this iconic role that used to be this white woman, and like I don't know, it sends me, it takes me to another place. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I'm
It's a
excited
fizz.
too. I'll give a huge fizz for D23 and all of the projects coming out.
That's all I
I
have.
did want to do a quick shout out to all of the winners for the Creative Emmys, the Creative Arts
Oh
Emmys.
yeah.
So that ceremony was held a couple of weeks ago now, but lots of great shows that we watched were actually honored in the Creative Arts Emmys, which I am happy to see. One of those being Outstanding Makeup for a Variety Nonfiction or Reality Show. Legendary was a winner. And, you know, we all watched that show on HBO Max, as well as We're Here, which is also on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those won. Chadwick Boseman also won a Creative Arts Emmy for Outstanding Character Voiceover Performance for his work as Lord T'Challa. Um, so
It was in the
it was a
animated
yeah.
series
So
though,
yeah, it
right? The
was
What
the
If series.
character
Yeah.
voiceover, yeah, for a What If. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Savage Fenty show won outstanding choreography uh, for a variety or reality programming. So that was like super cool. And Paris Goebel is now an Emmy
I was gonna
winner.
say,
That's
didn't
like
Paris do that?
huge. Yeah,
Good for
so like a
her.
lot of great
New
people
Zealand.
were able to take away some Emmy awards, and I love it. I love seeing um, oh shoot, Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls also took Emmys home.
Yep.
One for sure was outstanding directing for a reality program, and the Black Lady Sketch Show also won for outstanding directing as well.
Didn't RuPaul also win his
I
seventh
believe so, but I
Emmy?
mean
Like his
RuPaul
like the
has
most winning
RuPaul's got all kind of
tons
Emmys.
now.
So I mean, yes, still exciting. Go RuPaul, yes, but girl, like move out the way. Give somebody else a chance. I think at one point Oprah like
Ah,
stepped aside in her Emmys. She was just like, you know what, I'm gonna like give these other girls a chance. Um, Rue's
no.
not gonna do that.
Rue,
Rue
stay
wants to
on their
be the only
necks.
one. I know.
No, stay on their neck.
But no,
Stay on their neck.
super shout out to all of those winners. Um, those that we listened, those and that we didn't get to share.
It's
This
a
for me
fizz for
too.
me. That's it.
All right. So as we finish this episode, what are your final thoughts? What are you taking away?
My final thoughts are actually, let me see. Let me, what did we talk about today? What did we talk about today? Uh, you know what? I think my final thoughts are gonna go with "She" by Sheree,
Okay.
and actually, this could apply to "Don't Worry, Darling" too. I just hmm planning, planning is what I will say. Let's
Planning.
start with
Okay.
planning. Let's start with the vision that you have for yourself and for your movie and or business and or company. It could all be so simple. You know, if you've had 14 years to develop this brand and get it exactly where you want it to be, there should have been a full rollout with a, you know, a backup server for potential website crashing, because you do have a huge platform like Housewives of Atlanta is. And I just feel like that this was just so poorly handled on her part. You know, I don't think that this is good business. Now, will she probably scramble and get all of this together? Sure. But I mean, first impressions are everything. And I say the same thing about Harry Styles and Don't Worry, Darling. This is his movie debut. First impressions are everything. And now you have all of these rumors swirling around you about inappropriate relationships and behavior on set and all of that. And so my takeaway from this is, again, first impressions are everything. You know, how you choose to introduce yourself to the world, while you can change, it sticks. It sticks. Like it will forever be with you, no matter what you choose to have your story turn out to be. Same with Lea Michele. First impressions are everything, And so I think that that is a huge, huge thing that we should all think about. And so I think that's what I'm taking away from this episode.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback off that. And while first impressions are super important, it's also super important to finish just as strong as you began. And so that,
Hello?
I mean, that will be my message to the writing team over at Uncoupled, as well as um, Neo and Crystal, who are kind of going through this situation. How this is going to
Ooh.
kind of play out now, and maybe due whether or not whether it was due to the public piece of this is that now that there is going to be an actual um battle in terms of custody and spousal support. I don't know exactly how far this will go. I will say it seems as though Monyetta, who is also Neo's first ex-wife, uh, seems like she's in a very good place, and so I can only hope the same that her and the way that her and Neo connect and interact will be the same way that Crystal and Neo will interact. But just as how you start something, it's just important as how you finish it, and that will be my final thought. All
Agreed.
right.
Agreed. All
So
right,
where can
let's
they
get out
find
of
us,
here.
Marcus?
They could find us on all the socials: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Cold Pop Show. We have a TikTok, but we ain't been using it
Yeah,
like that.
but we do have stuff on there. You
We
can
ain't
go
really
and
been
see it.
using
Follow
it.
us. Um,
Yes, yes. And you can follow me at Marcus Drew Steele with an E on the end on
yep,
all
and
the
you can find
socials.
me at Trenton Rashad on Instagram and Twitter.
Have we gotten any are we still
Yeah,
on
we do have a
Facebook?
Facebook page, ColdPOP Podcast. Yep.
This ColdPOP podcast. We will be doing some more stuff for YouTube now. Clearly, you see the video, you see it. So we might be uploading some videos from the podcast on our YouTube channel. So definitely take a moment to check those out as
All right.
well.
Until next time, pop stars. See ya.
Bye.